Okay, now the show goes on and we're looking at the land disagreement between Methodist Old Boys and the Methodist Church.
Interesting.
What?
Interesting.
Okay, wait for it. The Methodist Boys High School Old Boys Association has appealed to the Methodist Church of Nigeria to stop encroaching on the school's land. The Old Boys Association says that the school was duly registered as an educational institution under the Lagos State Ministry of Education, saying that the land was solely for educational purposes. The Old Boys Association in 2022 said, and I quote, "The church should stop tampering with the school's land. The simple and only thing we're asking the church to do is to withdraw from the site and stop plundering school assets. We make bold to state that the school, founded in 1878, that's about 144 years ago, is an instrument of trust under a trust deed, which the school is duly registered under the Lagos State Ministry of Education. Thus, the church can neither tamper nor plunder nor sell any of its asset strictly meant for education." Okay. We reached out to the church, but they promised to speak on the matter at the appropriate time. But for today, we have, I assume, somebody who's a member of the Old Boys Association, Engineer Mobolaji Akinsanya Brown, who joins us virtually. Good morning, Mr. Akinsanya Brown.
Oh, but
Mr. Brown, are you there?
Barrister Adigoke Adedoyin is the one joining us this morning.
Okay.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Good morning. Thanks for having us. I have with me the president of the Old Boys Association in the person of Mr. Mobolaji Akinsanya Brown.
Oh, okay.
And we are also the lawyers to the Old Boys Association from Simon's Cooper Partners, Lagos.
I don't know. Well, we have that challenge here. We can only take one person on one platform. I don't know if it's possible to open another device for either you or Engineer Brown so that we can have both of you on two different platforms. It's a very interesting conversation, but we can speak to you while you settle. We may not be able to come see your face, but you can begin the process of opening another device. Well, perhaps to begin by saying, maybe to Engineer Brown, if you can hear me, many Nigerians would have thought that Methodist Boys High School and the Methodist Church are children of the same parents, Methodist system. What could be the reason for this misunderstanding, so to speak?
Yes, well, it's about the growth and development of the infrastructures of the school. There is no ambiguity on the school CFO, which reads Methodist Boys High School, Lagos, for educational purpose. And what we are saying is that out of the 5.771 hectares of land at 11 Sinari Daradijo Street, the Methodist Church Nigeria has acquired 8,500 square meters through another CFO. So how can we have two CFO on a land? So that is the bone of contention here. And we are saying that enough is enough with Methodist Church Nigeria encroaching into the school land, which was designed by the Lagos State government through the CFO for educational purpose and not for the building of luxurious flats for commercial gains and selling to the public.
Wow. Interesting. Well, perhaps to also ask, who acquired was it the church that acquired the land for the school in 1878? Or, in other words, who came first, the land or the church?
Yes, on that matter, I will yield the floor to our barrister from Simon Cooper to shed more light on that.
Go ahead now,
Mr. Adedoyin.
Mr. Adedoyin.
Yeah, so good morning once again. So if I could just provide some context to all of this conversation,
Okay.
just to sort of give us a bit of background to how all of this essentially started. So the Lagos Boys High School was established by a trust deed as far back as 1878, which you have alluded to, and it was registered as an educational institution.
Who initiated, just a second, my apologies, sincere apologies, just for understanding and context, because many people always identify the fact that the missionaries that came into Nigeria came as Christian missionaries, and one of the ways that they got through to the people was by setting up schools.
Schools, yes.
That's the reason I'm asking that question. So, was it the church that set up the trust deed?
Yes, it was essentially the foreign missionaries at the time,
Okay.
who basically entered into that trust deed to have the school established. Yes.
Okay. So go ahead now, because I mean, that's why many people will be wondering, hey, come on, the school is your parents, and the school, the church is the parent of the school,
yes.
And so the parents should be able to say whatever it is that they wanted to do. I don't know. Just help us. I mean, you want to give us context, so please go ahead. So we can understand what the issue is about.
Just to quickly touch on that. I mean, there's no denying that fact, right? But there's also not denying the fact that the two entities are different entities. The two bodies are different entities, entirely recognized by law. So, just to continue with the trajectory. So the school was basically established as an educational institute by the Lagos State Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Education, and the C of O was actually granted to the school because originally the school was actually located at Broad Street, 11 Broad Street, Lagos Island. Then along the line, the school was then moved to Ojo in Lagos State, so where you have the current Lagos State University. Then the Lagos State government at the time then acquired that land for some public interest purpose, and then had to then granted the school an alternative land where it is at the moment in Victoria Island, 11 Sinari Darani in Victoria Island, as compensation for the compulsory acquisition of the land at Ojo. So this was done through the efforts of some of the old boys at the time who were also in government, Dr. Louis as well as Chief Tunde Fanemokun. So that land where the school is currently was given to the school as compensation for the compulsory acquisition of the land at Ojo.
So the church had nothing to do with the acquisition of that land?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It was through the effort of the association, the old boys at the time. And as I mentioned, Dr. Louis and Dr. Tunde Fanemokun at the time. And just to mention that Chief Tunde Fanemokun was the PS under the Jakonde administration at the time. And so the COO was actually issued in the name of the school. It was issued in the name of the school as far back as 1983.
So it had no relationship with the church at all?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Alera has questions for you as well.
Okay. So can you please explain to us how come there are two C of O's for one property?
So essentially that is what baffles us, even as lawyers. I mean, we hear this happen everywhere, but to actually have this done by a church is really what it's ludicrous. It's ridiculous to say the least. So as I was saying, the initial CO was granted to the school in 1983, and fast forward to 2012, some individuals within the leadership of the church then came together and applied to Lagos State government for the reissuance of a parallel certificate of occupancy in 2012, and for that COO to be registered in the name of the registered trustees of Methodist Church Nigeria, in bracket the school proprietor. So you can see what they've cleverly done.
Yes.
To the Lagos State government. Mm-hmm. So they applied for a different COO in the name of the registered trustees of Methodist Church Nigeria, the school's proprietor.
Okay. Mr. Adedoyin, have you been in touch with Lagos State at all to discuss this issue of double certificate of occupancy? And what if you have, what was their response?
So we have actually, in fact, we wrote to the registrar of title. We also wrote to the Attorney General of Lagos State on this issue, just to show the illegality, the fraud being perpetrated. And their response essentially was that we should explore the mediation mechanism of the court. So they're basically telling us that we should approach the court to have this resolved, because it's really baffling to have all of this going on, especially by a religious institution, a reputable one for that matter. And I'm not putting this on the entire church. What I'm saying is, it is some individuals within the leadership of the church that are spearheading this illegality.
Okay.
And that is why we are bringing this to the attention of the public.
Well, interestingly, it would seem like the public has gotten some kind of attention to it. A video was making the rounds earlier on in the week, and perhaps even for about a week or two now. I don't know if it's something we can take a quick look at for people to get some context.
Don't get yourself in a mess. This is the school of the school. We are not apologizing it. All your iron rod will be seen. Anybody here will deal with it. That's all I want to say. And we are not trespassers. They do not trespass. And I've told them, we had 3 meetings. And I told them one saying this please, leave our land alone. Only to hear now that they brought from material. Nobody will build in here. But don't get yourself messed up. Both names, Ifrani Muko is my name. I'm the one that got this land for the school 40 years ago. And before that, I'm also in construction. I don't go into people's land to do that one. So let your voice get out of here, and if not, come in here.
Mr. Yusuf, is that clear?
Okay, nothing.
Is that clear?
It's good.
Damilola, you understand what he's trying to say?
Yeah, I don't really understand, but I know that there's a little bit of conflict. That's what I think I know.
Okay. You are aware that this school was formerly at Broad Street.
Okay.
This is the second oldest school in Nigeria.
Okay.
Now, they sold the land. This church,
are they the contractor? Yes, they are. They are okay. Representatives of the contractor.
Yes, but yeah, same
from Methodist Church. Okay.
Whoever said let them come and meet us, let them come and meet us.
They are run now.
Excuse me, can I talk with my engineer 1 minute?
Okay. Please,
don't come here again.
Well, that video is quite viral now. But let me ask Engineer Mobolaji Akinsanya Brown, since this conversation started, any overtures so far made to the church as to why this whole thing needs to happen in the first place?
Yes, we met with the last prelate.
I'm asking Mr. Akinsanya if he's there with you.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, please go ahead, sir.
Yes, we met with the last prelate, Uche Kalu. We had meetings with him, and he warned all the members present that nobody should go back to the school land. I'm quoting last prelate, Uche Kalu, what he said. So we are surprised that they engaged talks. They brought talks to the land last week, Monday, and they started throwing stones and rock at us, and that's very saddening. Okay. Of Methodist Church Nigeria.
I'm struggling to understand that, because I thought, for all intents and purposes, peace is what I know that Jesus Christ preached. And if memory serves me right, you describe, when you talk about a church, you are talking about the Christian faith. Now, these conversation with this church, is there any correspondence, any mail, any text, letter, or whatever that was sent and for which there was a reply?
Yes, we wrote to them after the meeting with the last prelate, Kalu Uche, but they never responded to us. They never replied our letter up to date.
Interesting. Now,
have you tried to see them after what happened last week, Monday?
For now, we have taken our position. We've had meetings, and we are resolute that we don't need to sit down. They are not to be, some of them are not to be trusted, and we have lost faith in them. And our position now is to proceed to institute legal action, to Methodist Church Nigeria, so that we can put all these at rest.
This whole incident and this video gives the impression that the school is sitting on a large piece of land, part of which has remained unbuilt. Is that assumption correct?
Yes, the layout plan of the school, what has been built is just, I can say, is just 45% to 50% out of the 5.771 hectares of the survey plan of the school. We have large expanse of land for hostel accommodation development, IT structures development, sports grounds development, and out of this, and they have taken 8,500 square meters out of it. Roughly 1 hectare has been taken out of this. An hectare is 10,000 square meters.
Wow. Okay, Mr. Adedoyin, with this now, the engineer Akinsanya there is saying that they have taken a position to institute a legal process, and we saw the former PermSec, Chifani Mokun, saying there that, look, he was part of the process from the very beginning, and given the background that you have also given us now, it would seem like the church has some questions to answer. Where do we go from here?
So, absolutely. I mean, the church does have a lot of questions to answer. And just in another 2-3 minutes, another thing that these individuals did was to also apply to Lagos State government to change the purpose of use from educational purpose to residential purpose. That's another thing. Then, secondly, these individuals then floated a company by the name J. Wesley Investment Company, and then transferred all of this landed property, the church now, then transferred this landed property to J. Wesley Investment Company of Nigeria. Guess for how much? For a consideration of 1 naira. A consideration of 1 naira. So essentially,
sorry, what year was this?
That was 2012. In fact, we have the deed of assignment, purportedly assigning this interest in the land from the church, these individuals within the church, to J. Wesley Investment Company Nigeria, which they are, basically. Yes.
I am at a complete loss as
Yes.
to why the Lagos state government would deal with them on this matter at all. Please, you are the lawyer. Tell us exactly what is going on.
So the thing is, so for land matters, essentially, if you are looking to buy a land, purchase a land, and you need to do your due,
Okay, well,
you will find all the records pertaining to the ownership of that land with Alausa. So if the land is encumbered, you go from the records at the land registry. If the land encumbrances, you will know at the land registry.
Okay.
So what surprises me essentially is that by the time the church went to Alausa to do a search, they would have met a subsisting C of O in the name of the school. It will be there in the file to show that there is an existing ownership with respect to this particular land.
Yes.
So what now happened?
That they were issued a second one.
How come?
I mean, what I was saying regarding that is that, we are in Nigeria. We know how some of these things happen.
No, but
please,
Mr.
Adedoyin, no, that is not Nigeria.
We also understand that
Nigeria.
C of O's are only issued by the governor.
Yes, I withdraw that. And what I will say is that this was granted, this new C of O by this issue to this, or purportedly issued to the church, was in 2012. And you can essentially find out who was in government at the time, the individuals in government at the time, the individuals at the registry at the time. So
at what time did the old boys receive their own C of O? What year was that?
So the school received the C of O as far back as October 1983.
Okay. Yes. Thankfully, Chifano Mokun is still around. He's still alive. He said he was PermSec at the time, so he does have some history. So I'm guessing you're also saying now that there are questions to answer as to how the church was able to get another C of O in 2012 for an expensive cost of ₦1.
Yes.
Okay.
No, so they transferred that land. So what I said, so they floated a company, an investment company. So because they couldn't do this through the church, they floated an investment company called J. Wesley Company Limited, and now transferred that property to J. Wesley Investment Limited. And these individuals now made themselves shareholders in that company, just for them to be able to carry out all of these things. So they essentially changed the purpose of use from educational purpose to residential purpose.
Well, I understand that it is the governor of a state in Nigeria that has to sign the C of O, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So was the governor deceived?
Well, I want to believe so, because the C of O the C of O that the church purportedly got from Lagos State government was actually signed by the governor at the time.
Okay.
It was signed by the governor at the time, yes.
I can only speculate that the governor did not have the entire picture in front of him when he signed the second C of O.
Absolutely.
I'm sure he was not informed that there was already an existing C of O for the same piece of land.
Anyway, well, we have to just thank you, and because let's just also put it on record, we have reached out to the church, to the Methodist church in question, and they promised that they will speak on the matter at the appropriate time. I don't know if there is a more appropriate time than now that you have come. The church does have a right of reply, and we are happy to host them as well on this matter.
In the meantime, we ask you to please keep us abreast happenings regarding the land, because we are interested in things educational.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. We've been chatting with Engineer Mobolaji Akinsoya-Brown, who is the president of the Old Boys Association of Methodist Boys High School, as well as Mr. Adegoke Adedoyin, who is the lawyer for the Old Boys, regarding the issue of the church versus the school. Thank you very much. Sunrise will be right back, and we'll be talking lifestyle.